Phrasal verbs are so annoying to learn. They're really quite difficult for many students, but I think that the absolute best way to learn them is through context. So I'm going to teach them to you through a true story. Right, let's get started with the story and the lesson. For a long time, I got away with doing the bare minimum at school, and my Spanish really suffered. I lived in a tiny village with no public transport. I wanted to get away and explore another culture. Okay, let's look at this first phrasal verb. I've actually used it twice, but it means different things depending on the context. It is to get away. So in the first instance, I say that I got away with doing something, the bare minimum. The bare minimum is very, very little, the least amount possible. Now in this context, get away means to succeed in avoiding punishment for something, or similarly, to do something successfully even though it's not the best way to do it. So I would say in this context it means the latter. So this means that I was still passing at school, but I was working very, very little. I was doing the absolute minimum. In the second sentence, I wanted to get away and explore. To get away in this case means to leave or to escape. I knew that if I wanted to get ahead, I had to do more than just attend my school classes. I explained my predicament to my parents and they got behind me. They told me that if I wanted to go abroad, I had to get out and find a job. Okay, so we've got 3 phrasal verbs with get there. Let's look at the first one. To get ahead. To get ahead. This means to become successful in one's life or career. I wasn't going to get ahead by doing the bare minimum, so I knew I had to do something more. Then we have to get behind, and although this sounds negative because it's behind, it's actually really positive. To get behind something or to get behind someone is to support something or someone. So my parents really supported me. We often use to get behind an idea or something or a project. I think they'll get behind that project. I think they'll really support it. Then we have the final one, to get out, which means to leave, and in this case, the house. Next part of the story. I got onto it straight away and found a job in the local pub. I spoke about this in a previous video, my job at the pub. In that video, I explained lots of different ways to say said. Link down below. Once I'd saved enough money, I called a language academy in Seville, Spain. I got through to the manager and I booked a week-long residential language course. When I arrived in Seville, I met all of my classmates and we got on really well. I found that I could get by with the little Spanish I knew. Okay, so let's start with to get onto something. In this context, it means to start to do or to start to deal with something. So if you have a problem or a task ahead of you, you can say, right, I'll get onto it. I'll start to deal with it. Next, we have to get through, which means to make a successful telephone call. If you called somebody but they didn't pick up, you can say, oh, I couldn't get through to him. Now, next one, to get on with. You might also hear to get along with. I would probably be more inclined to say to get on with, because to get along with requires slightly more effort. And the last one, to get by. To get by. This means to manage with difficulty, to live or to accomplish something. So in this situation, I was managing to communicate with difficulty, but I accomplished it.